So I'm going to test it early. So I'm telling Caruso or whomever's guarding him, Schroeder, stay on his left and make him keep the ball in his right hand. That's what we're going to do. And if the help comes, Skip, I'm helping out Chris Paul because I don't believe he can consistently make those shots that he would typically make because of that nerve impingement that could possibly be going on. Now, maybe it subsides. He has a day. I'm sure he'll ice it. He'll get stem, and he'll probably feel a little better. But I'm going to test it out. And guess what? I'm going to bang into him. I'm setting them picks. I'm setting picks. I'm going to put putting Chris Paul butt in the pick and roll with Big Drum. That's what I am going to do and have him run into some of those picks. And I'm going to see when we play bumper card, that net going side to side, how it feels. But Chris Paul is too great of a player to not find other ways to help his team win. So offensively, Skip, he might not be able to give you the production point-wise, but his leadership in other aspects, he's still going to be on ball. Still going to be able to defend, I believe, defend at a high level. Chris Paul is still Chris Paul, and what the greats can do when they're limited in one area, they'll find another way to try to impact the ball game. So that's what I expect for Chris Paul. But what we do here, we don't make excuses. So I'm not going to let you do that. I'm not, because I know you tried to build one in and say LeBron James get all the breaks, but we're not going to do that. That's not what we're going to do today.
LeBron James gets all the breaks. Would you believe that going into game one of the finals last year, they draw the 5th seed, the Miami Heat, and Dragic is hurt, and he's their leading playoff scorer, and I'm like...
He got hurt in the game.
What a huge advantage that was.
He wasn't hurt coming into that series.
He was.
No, he got hurt.
Well, Bam was the one who got hurt during the game, and then he was never right the rest of the series. So 2 starters, 2 key components, Dragic and Bam, are gone in game one. And how much, it's like, thank you, basketball gods. Here, LeBron, you get, what was he up to now? His 3rd championship? Or maybe it was a 4th. I forget. Okay, I'll give you 4. But one was flawed. One was...
But you know what?
Ray Allen it has an asterisk.
I never heard people say when Kevin Love and Kyrie got hurt, Bron has all the bad luck. He gets all, they didn't say Bron get all the breaks then. They were applauding that Kyrie and Kevin Love was out and LeBron was undermanned against the Golden State Warriors. Now you talking about, Bam.
He had them down 2-1, and there was no KD. They weren't the Warriors yet.
Did you see Steph Curry? Was there Steph Curry? Was Steph Curry still there? They still had Clay.
But nobody knew he was Steph quite yet.
Yeah, he was Steph.
And Iguodala was the MVP of that final.
But he was the MVP of the regular season, so I knew who he was.
Okay.
And Clay. They had Clay. Don't forget about Clay now.
Your king had them down 2-1 with game 4 in his house, and he shot 7 of 22 and went right in the tank in that game.
He had a Kawhi game. Kawhi was 9 of 22 yesterday. He had a Kawhi game.
Thank you for putting Kawhi in the same breath with LeBron James.
Y'all been doing it for years. You, Kenny Smith, and a lot of y'all been doing that for years.
All right, so back to Chris Paul. The reason that he is not more decorated in the postseason is he has been regularly and repeatedly hurt. He just always gets hurt. And when they went up in Houston, he and James, 3-2, remember that?
Yep.
They go up 3-2 on those Warriors.
Yep.
And he pulled his hamstring, and they were not the same. Obviously, James fell apart and had turnover the game. It would have been game 6 and 7 back at Golden State. And James was no good, and they would they shoot from 3 in the...
they missed like 27 in a row or something like that,
Like 7 of 44 from 3 in game 7 at Golden State. But the point is, here we go again with Chris Paul. So it's difficult for me to read into exactly what he's going to be tomorrow night because I don't know.
Right.
It was a weird injury to start with. I think it was a stinger, as we talked about before, but... Was it worse? Was it some structural damage? They called it a contusion.
That's what they call it.
A contusion? What does that mean? A contusion of your shoulder?
Skip, I think the thing is, Chris doesn't know because me playing with an ankle sprain, I can tell you what pretty good what I'm going to be like because I've had one before. And when I've had an injury and I get it again, I can tell you with a pretty degree of certainty, okay, I've had this injury before. It's not quite as bad. I don't know if Chris Paul has had this injury before. So he can't tell you with any degree of certainty how he's going to play because I don't think he's ever had to deal with it. Now, if he's probably had to deal with a jammed finger. He's had to deal with an ankle or maybe a knee or something like that. And he can tell you with a pretty degree of certainty, I've had this before, I can deal with it, this is what I know what I can do. But something like this, something that he's never had, this is foreign, this is unknown to him. But Chris Paul, like I said, I'm not going to sell Chris Paul short. That's one thing I'm not going to do.
Okay. So if I'm the Lakers, if I'm Frank Vogel, Jason Kidd, and staff, I just watch him warm up. And if he can't shoot a lick in the warm-ups, or if he's not even trying to shoot a lick in the warm-ups, then I know I got him right where I want him. That's why the odds makers have flipped the script from Lakers 2.5-point underdogs in game 1 to Lakers 2-point favorites in game 2. That's a 4.5-point swing because of this injury, right?
Well, whatever the reason why, we're going to win it. Like I said, but I tell you what, watch Drum set them picks on him.
Okay, well, this is a mismatch in game 2 because if he's as limited as he was in game 1, then you know and I know what's going to happen. They won't just help off Chris Paul. They will dare Chris Paul to shoot in ways they did not yesterday. They actually guarded him yesterday when that defender should have been on Devin Booker for the whole fourth quarter.
Yes.
They should have been all over him just the way they played Steph the other night and say, you can't have a shot. You know, when you step across half court, we are going to force you to give the ball up.
Give it up.
And if you have to give the ball up to Chris Paul who can't shoot, so be it. Right?
I totally agree with you, Skip. And that's what I couldn't understand. Because Devin Booker was he knew the double team might be coming. He was getting the ball. He going straight to the basket. He either getting to the rim or he's pulling up from 8 to 10. And I'm like, Frank, now, you're a defensive guru now. I mean, you've had top defenses when you were in Indy. You had top defenses here with the Lakers. But, bro, you're not going to get the ball out of his hands. You see, he's the only one making shots, Skip.
So the other fortuitous break that you got yesterday was in that fracas, that melee, that Cameron Payne got ejected, and I don't know how. Well, for what?
Because he threw the ball? Yeah, first of all, Skip, he shoved him. Then he threw the ball. Did he not shove him?
Well, then Montrez came running in and blasted basically, right? And I don't know how Montrez didn't get.
He got to take. We tried to separate him. We didn't want no problem. We didn't want no trouble.
Okay, so the point is, well, look, Caruso started it.
Well, Skip, you get that a lot. The guy's holding the ball. He tried to explain to the referee, and the guy slaps it. Now, I didn't like that either because that's the way you can get a finger. Guy slapped the ball down and end up messing up a finger.
Once upon a time, Russ got his knee wrecked that way by little Patrick Beverley.
Exactly. So I get the Payne being upset because you can hurt somebody's hand like that, slapping the ball out of the hand.
So he was lost, and that's your backup point guard. So really, Monty Williams had no choice down the stretch. He had to play Chris.
Well, they still had Carter. They had, I think, Eton Moore. Eton Moore hit the shot the other day that won them the ball game. So they got guys that's more, obviously, they're not Chris Paul.
I don't think he trusted anybody. He would have trusted Cameron Payne.
Yeah.
So tomorrow night, I'm suggesting that Chris plays only maybe 25 minutes instead of 36, and that Cameron Payne's minutes go from, he had almost 13, go up to 20-ish. So that's what I think you're going to see. That's why it will be a mismatch. That's why it should be a cakewalk for the King and his Lakers.
I'm not, Skip, I don't listen to you because all you try to do, you try to just set it up. I know what you're trying to do.
Cakewalk.
Because if it doesn't happen, see, this is what I've been talking about. Your man, ankle.
Okay, ankle James. We haven't even talked about his ankle because he looked fine to me yesterday.
He ain't fine. No? He's not fine.
Oh, yeah, that's right. He's playing on one leg.
Yeah. You know he's not fine.
So he's not clutch, he's crutch, right? See? He's crutch James.
But we didn't get a chance to rest. Somebody else had no injuries, and y'all was resting for the last 10 games. And how y'all look?
Rusty is how we looked. You could not be rusty because you had to play your way into
We had to play our way nothing. Yeah. We were cruising.
Yeah, cruising. So the point is, you got an easy one tomorrow night, and then we'll see Chris Paul.
How you think we got easy? That's the number 2 seed.
Who's their most valuable player? It's Chris Paul, right?
He might be their most valuable. He's not their best player.
Okay,
that's Book.
That is true. So you can take Book out of the game because it's going to be 5-on-4.
Yeah, we're going to double him.
Okay.
We're going to get the ball.
Congratulations. It's 1-1.
And Big Drum going to give us 15-15.
Yep. 15 and 15.
15 and 15. What part about 15 and 15
and
did
that
you
means
understand?
AD's going to be out on the perimeter saying, can I play?
AD gonna give us 25 and 11 because that's what he gave us on the bubble against Jay Crowder. That's still Jay Crowder. He's just not in Miami anymore. You notice what I was noticing, and everybody else noticed this too. Jay Crowder can hit shots with everybody else. Last year he couldn't miss in Miami. He can't miss with the Suns. He played with LeBron in Cleveland and couldn't throw it in Lake Erie. Did you notice that?
I did not notice
I noticed it, and everybody else noticed it too. I said, do y'all remember when he played with LeBron in Cleveland and he made all those threes? Yeah, I don't either.
Well, he needs to make them tomorrow night.
Well, that's okay. AD gonna make something. AD gonna make it pay.
Well,
AD
he
have
said
to
he's going to come out with a vengeance, so we'll see.
25 and 10. Book it. You want some of that?
He took
Booker it?
responsibility.
Oh,
25 and 10 for AD. Book it.
no, I'm not betting against that. He should have 35 and 10.
Trip dub for GOAT. You want some of that?
No, I don't. I told you it's a cakewalk. Why would I bet against myself?
Skip, that's the number 2 seed.
It used to be.
Oh, I like
my
when you
goodness.
guys bet around here. It makes it more interesting.
He's scared.
All right,
He's scared. He
all
don't wanna
right.
bet
We
no
are